My name is Dayo Okewale. I'm the managing director and founder of Who's Got Game.
Fantastic. And what is Who's Got Game?
So Who's Got Game is a sports organisation. We use basketball as a tool for social change and development all over the world.
And why basketball?
I mean, basketball is the best sport on this earth,
Yeah.
not just being biased. But I mean, basketball is a great team sport.
Yeah.
So it allows us not only to teach a great sport, a great skill, but also to teach great qualities and life skills and transferable skills that are great for business and life.
And it's so widely played
Yeah.
in this country. I don't think people realise
Yeah.
how A, little funding there is for it, and B, how widely it is played. All you need is a hoop and a ball.
Exactly, and I mean, to your credit, it's the second most played sport under 16 at grassroots level, and just lack of funding, lack of infrastructure. Obviously, it rains all the time here in the UK, so lack of funding, lack of infrastructure, really kills the sport from that age, and that kind of has a cycle effect. So, if you kill the sport from 16 and under, lack of resources, lack of great coaches, lack of investment, then we don't do well at elite sports. So obviously, basketball England, just at the Commonwealth. I mean, the ladies were fantastic. They just got a silver.
Yeah.
The guys didn't do so. I mean, they were semi-final, so it went bad. But Olympics, we don't do well.
Yeah.
Hence, our funding, our elite funding, is always cut or zero or bottom.
And it's a bit of a vicious circle, because there's yet to be any superstar go to America from the UK, other than like Lil Dang, but he left early and he's constantly injured. So there's not been that one person that the UK can point to going with more money is with that available. But you're not going to get that until you invest in. So do you think it's what needs to be invested? Is it courts? Is it training? Is it what?
I mean, it's a bit of everything. So it's not just courts, but what you find in the UK, all our basketball courts, apart from 2, are multi-purpose courts. Yeah. So it's badminton, it's everything else, and so the maintenance for those courts, you have to have a multi-purpose floor, so not a basketball floor. So that's one. And then also, to book for basketball, you have to book out the whole court. So logistically and financially, it makes sense to pay for the badminton, to pay for indoor football, etc., more popularity, etc., more revenue. But I mean, you take it back. I mean, the coaching. So you mentioned Lil Deng. He went to university in Duke. I mean, there's been great players here. Pop Spencer Ponsel played in the NBA. John Amici played the NBA, won the Commonwealth Gold here. But again, and John Amici, to his credit, set up a whole coaching infrastructure in Manchester. And I know since then, it's the same thing, lack of investment, lack of funding to take it to that next level. So it's from every level. We need better coaches. We need younger interventions, so basketball kind of taught at a younger level, more camps. This is something Who's Got Game is doing. And then also at the elite level, we need more investment into the BBL or whatever basketball professional league we have here. And then also more sponsors, more entertainment. The list goes on. I can give everything away, but that's part of our business plan. Who's Got Game? So.
Okay, fantastic. And what? Talk about the day. Like, why did you put on that event? Why did you put on that event?
Yeah. So our Who's Got Game celebrity basketball game is called Celebrity Ball Out. We hold it annually or biannually, as we're doing from this year. And I mean, it's just a fantastic event where we get to galvanize the power of basketball, just as a great sport, but also bringing the community together. We host a celebrity game with celebrity influencers and actors, singers, sports athletes from all over the world. We host it in conjunction with Cut the Chat. And it's just a great way of bringing people together. And then what we do is we center a charity around each of our events. So we get everyone to understand who this charity is. We give the charity raise awareness for that charity. And then we give them funding and resourcing. And so for us, it's we're raising awareness about the sport, we're bringing popularity to the sport, we're bringing an entertainment factor,
Yeah.
and then also we're allowing the sport to actually give back to the community in way of resourcing and raising awareness for charities that support the community.
Fantastic. And what was the other question about basketball? Yeah, the day. Like, you had like a million questions to answer.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the, like, I couldn't do that. There's no way. I've tried to do an event, before. Disastrous. Yeah, how do you deal with the pressure of organising something on that scale?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's it's a blessing. We've been Who's Got Games been running for about 10 years.
Yeah.
We have programs and events all over the world. So we just recently came from doing a camp in the Cayman Islands. We're off to Senegal soon to do another basketball camp. So I mean, we're used to this. I mean, we're used to the activity. We're used to what goes wrong. We're used to various things happen on the day. We're used to the press and all that.
Yeah.
And I think for us, it's just a great excitement for us. I think for me, I enjoy the adrenaline, the excitement. When I used to play basketball, a lot of people used to crumble under the pressure. When the crowd's on, that's when I perform. So when the lights are on, that's when I perform.
Fantastic. And there's so many moving parts of organising a day like that. You've got like the guys that you work with. How did you meet them, and how did you get involved? How did they get involved in that?
Yeah. So Who's Got Game? We have about 5 people in our core team that work on a day-to-day basis. And then Cut the Chat, who also partner with us on the event, they have a core team. So it's about us as the core teams, first of all, meeting, discussing how the day is going to be planned out. Yeah. And that's months and months in advance of planning, operational planning, risk assessment, discussing sponsors and brands we want associated with us.
Yeah.
And then once we've established all that, we select volunteers to come help out on the day, hiring any extra personnel that we need as well, security. We had an external company handling our press and all our press inquiries. So yeah, I mean it's a whirlwind month by month process of operational handling.
Fantastic. And cool, I think I've done that bit. You work really hard. This is more about you.
Yeah.
What is it? Because I don't know. I like working hard, but I can't do it all the time. Because you were up at 7 a.m, like getting basketballs ready and that sort of thing. What is it about your character that drives you to get up that early on a Sunday? When you also work and do this.
I mean, it's seeing the bigger picture. So, my bigger picture for basketball in this country is for it to grow. Basketball as a sport gave me so many tools as a person, as a man. Hard work, diligence, leadership, confidence. I learned a lot of that from basketball. So for me, getting everyone to understand, that this sport has amazing transferable skill potential, amazing skill potential to tackle some of the hardest issues we're dealing right now in this country. We're dealing with issues of knife violence, gun violence, and so when I feel I have a solution, I can't just sleep on it, and I can't just be undiligent and let someone else handle it. I want to be hands on. So even a lot of the stuff on the day, we have a great team. But I want to know what's going on. I want to be involved in every other facet and every piece of it, and not because I don't trust my team. Because if I was to step away, they could handle it without me. But I feel within my core, there's a bigger purpose, and there's a bigger purpose than basketball. But it is the tool that I definitely believe can help lead a lot to a greater purpose.
Fantastic. So this was about you. What's your story, sort of growing? How did you get to this point?
Yeah.
Where did you grow up? How did you come to work in the House of Lords?
Yeah.
So have you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I grew up in a council estate in Hackney. You know, my mum and dad, bless them, you know, they work hard, so they were always at the house. And me and my brothers and one sister, we would go to school. When we come back from school, you know, you had an option of either hanging with the street kids on the corners of Hackney and doing what they do, or kind of being a isolate and, you know, staying at home, staying in your books, and you know, I was always a rebel, so I used to hang with the street kids, and you know, 14, I was involved in a lot of stuff I shouldn't have been involved in, and I remember at 15, 16, one of my closest friends, he introduced me to the game of basketball. Literally challenged me to a game. And me, as confident as I am, you know, I'm never gonna lose anything. I mean, he beat me up. So 2 weeks straight, I abandoned the street life and I picked up a ball, and I played basketball for 2 weeks straight. Beat him, and then he took me to his training facility, East London Royals. That's where I began my journey. So I played East London Royals for several years. You know, momentum started picking up. I got a basketball scholarship, part scholarship to university. Graduated with a business degree, played pro basketball for a few years here, abroad, and then came back, went into finance and business, put my degree to use, hated it, so I left, and then set up Who's Got Game 10 years ago, started writing articles on how sport can be used as a tool for change, done some stuff with the UN, UNESCO, European Commission. And then Who's Got Game began to grow momentum. We shot a Sky Sports documentary. We started doing different events and programs all over the world. And then, I was kind of invited or appointed here as chief of staff to work with one of the lords, and that happened about 3 years ago. So,
do you feel you operate in two different worlds? Because like this is. I've never worked in a place like that. Not many people would have worked in a place like this. From like Hackney, I've just come from Hackney. It took me 30 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
It's not a long way. You must be aware of like that journey, and you're in a unique position that you're in.
Yeah.
I can't really. I don't know what I'm asking, but yeah. How not how self-aware of you. I know you're very self-aware, but how reflective of your journey are you? Like when you're doing Who's Got Game?
Yeah, I mean all the time. I mean, for me, I understand where I come from, and I understand where I am, and I understand that I may be the bridge that bring the two together. So I'm very aware of the position I hold here, the influence I hold here. And how important it is for us to leverage this influence and help those who are in positions where I used to be, whether it's poverty positions or whether it's positions with lack of opportunity or skilling. And I think for me, it just leverages a great opportunity. You know, I see every day, you know, Hackney's changed. Hackney's not the same it was 20 years ago. But a lot of the people are the same. And slowly but surely they're being edged out, but no solution is being taught to how do you skill someone, how do you give someone livelihood, how do you empower or prosper someone, and that's what Who's Got Games all about. So we're all about using the sport as a tool to empower great leaders of tomorrow, to give skilling to the next great business owner or person in the workplace. And I think the importance of sport is a very underused tool. And research shows, there was a recent research that showed people that played university sports earn 10 to £15,000 more than their counterpart that didn't. And the list goes on. I mean, you can look at the executives and senior board members and their livelihood and their lives through sport, and how sport has affected them. Every conversation you have now, if you go to a male in a large group or a large business setting, it's either sport, politics, or opposite sex. So I mean, sport plays a powerful role in everyday life, and I think for us, especially at Who's Got Game, it's a vibrant part of our backbone to use sport as a prospering tool.
So what do you see in the future for Who's Got Game and basketball in this country?
Yeah, I mean, for Who's Got Game, we've expanded now to North America, so operational now in 3 schools in North America. We're in 160 plus here. We have a corporate league here. We're establishing a corporate league in America. We have operational programs in Africa, some in Cayman, and we're just going to expand and grow. So replicate our models here in Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean. And I think for us, the plan was to use basketball, but then to migrate to other sports like tennis and football and other stuff. But there's such a pull on basketball and such a power that it's just began to grow and spiral. So we're sticking with that momentum at the moment. And for basketball in this country, I mean, we have a lot of plans. So we believe that the entertainment factor is a heavily underused tool. And we believe that the power of basketball and the narratives aren't shown enough. The stories that come from basketball, the case studies, I mean, Luol Deng's story is powerful. I don't think enough light is shown on that. And Who's Got Game, we have a very systematic 3-year strategy on how to share more of our case studies, how to run more events that have high entertainment value, put on a greater show and reach out to a larger audience. And then also we have some plans on how to partner with some of the professional leagues here and what we can do to help them grow. So yeah.
Fantastic. So just to try and communicate like you as a person, what are, because you're very calm and collected. It's not obvious like what are the things that, ruffle you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where's your, emotional scale? Like what's the things that, as you say, keeps you up at night, or, what are the things that make you, frustrated, angry, whatever?
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of things that can push my buttons. I mean, I try, based on my faith, and also based on just experiences I've been through. I've experienced a lot and seen a lot, and God has brought me through a lot. So I'm very humbled and very focused and very content. I take every day as it comes. I live every day as if it's my last, and try and live purposefully as possible. A few things ruffle me, like my wife, and she might be one of the only things that could really really get to me. But I mean, seeing people not live to their potential, or seeing injustices are definitely things that ruffle me and get to me. But aside from that, no, it's we don't have time to worry or dwell or act stressed out or to worry about things we can't change. Only thing we can control, or one of the limited things we can control, is perspective. And to have a calm, collective perspective on everything gives you great power.
Fantastic. Sorry, a bit all over the place. I just remembered.
You're good.
Hackney. What are like the practical solutions that could be done? Because I know, like, in the press or whatever, I don't know. I read about some funding's been given. Like, what if you were in charge? What would you be like spending the money on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, education is a great investment. I mean, I struggle with asking for funding, asking for grant, asking for handouts. I've always been of the case, if you teach someone something, if you teach them how to earn for themselves, teach them how to educate themselves, they'll never be desolate. And so education for me is one of the greatest things. And whether that's education in a particular career, education in a trade, education is pivotal. And so most of my investment, most of my resourcing will go into education. And whether that's teachers, whether it's programs like Who's Got Game that give people different options, different skill education. So Who's Got Game, we as well as doing referee, table officiant, table officiating, all of these niche basketball trading. We have metrics that measure leadership, teamwork, conflict resolution, how to perform under pressure, and these things are valuable to employers. And so it's creating a different narrative. A lot of people ask for funding, ask for money, and do the same old thing, and I mean, nothing's really changing, is it? I mean, we're just continually spiraling in the same circle, the same problem. And so we need to really invest in innovative educational programs that really progress people forward and give them value.
Yeah, I was thinking last night, what is it about the game of basketball? And that's quite right, all those traits translate. But from the game on a couple of weeks ago, everyone's happy, but as soon as you get on the court, it's competitive.
Of course. And I mean, it embodies so much emotion. That takes so much focus. I mean, you have to be aware of your surroundings, aware of everything that's happening, and as well in the game, focused on your team objective, focused on the objective you as a player. And these things are exactly the same in business. You have to be aware of the world affairs, what's going on around you, what's going to affect your stock in the marketplace. If you're in finance, if you're in politics, what's going to affect your next political decision. You have to be aware of everything around you, but stay focused and in the game. And so there's just great parallels. And then you look all around you. You look at, okay, you had the basketball game on in the next room. You had food, you had catering, you had music, you had entertainment. So upstairs you had press, you had all of these jobs, all of these occupations, all of these resources. I mean, it's all happening at the same time through one sport, and that's just a powerful thing.
Yeah, fantastic. Just trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I've not really asked you about the House of Lords.
Yeah.
What's your day to day like? What's your day job? What do you do?
Yeah, my day to day is never the same. Although everyone asks me what's my day to day, it's never the same. Right. I'm chief of staff for a crossbench lord, Lord Hastings, CB of Scarisbury, and it varies. I mean, there's so much political research, analytical work that needs to be done here in Parliament, but then. The Lord I work with, he's board member, patron, chairman of different organisations, different charities, and all of those responsibilities and work come through to this office. There's also other people in the team, so I have to micromanage. So it's a lot. I mean, this week is a lot of Commonwealth heads of government meetings. Just came from a meeting now with the president of Mozambique. Have a meeting later with the president of Kenya, and tomorrow back to political work, research. Thursday could be something to do with child migration. Next week I'm off to Rotterdam. There's never a week that's the same, but I love that variation.
Did you see yourself working here?
No, definitely not. I mean, you could have asked me 5-6 years ago, did I see myself working here? And no, I didn't. But saying that, the worlds of politics and everything I've been doing in the social advocacy realm and with sport, I mean, they're aligned. And a lot of people don't understand that politics relates to everyday life, whether it's the price of milk, whether it's transportation, whether it's sport funding, and everything relates to politics, relates to government, relates to decisions that are made here in this house. So no, I didn't see myself here, but I always saw myself being involved in making decisions for change. And so there's just an delineation of the transferred worlds, so to speak.
Fantastic. I think that's everything.
That's it, man.
Brilliant.
Keep on going if you want.